The season 2024-2025 is coming to an end. And of course, when the season is coming to an end, there's a few players who are running out of their contracts. And in this episode, of course, we're going to focus especially on those players, key players, and especially the Premier League and some of the leagues that we know that are running out of their contracts, some of who are very key to their teams, some of who are not very key, but we will be discussing to know where exactly they're going to end up. So welcome back to Get In Sports. My name is Brian.
My name is Enoch.
And let's do this. Now, first and foremost, in the Premier League, the league leaders, Liverpool, have had a few contract problems with their players. Most importantly, some of their key players, or these are the three key players in Liverpool squad. We have Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mo Salah, Virgil Van Dijk. Before we dive in, what is happening at Liverpool?
Wow, I'm actually shocked at the quality of those players that are actually still on the top level of their game.
Yeah.
You could argue with a bit of Trent, who's dipped in some way, but the likes of Salah and VVD, they're the ones who have actually made Liverpool's boat to actually fly high.
Yeah.
But much to be said about Trent, who looks to be on his way out as we speak, and he looks like he has his eyes set for Real Madrid. But as a Liverpool fan, I think we will be devastated. As a Liverpool fan, you will actually be devastated at the fact that this is one of your boyhood academy players, heroes, who gelled his way up into the first team as a crucial team. You could see actually. I think he's one of the guys who was one of the two defenders who has the most assists in Premier League history. So you will want more and more from him, and I think that he's actually 26 at the moment. You could say he's approaching his prime years. But we always say the club is bigger than the player.
Of course it is. I think it's a pity what's happening at Liverpool, because somehow even the reports themselves don't really get into details of what is really happening. I remember after Van Dijk, I think after the game they were defeated by PSG. He came clean and he said he doesn't even know what is going on with his contract. And it's sad to say, because Van Dijk is Liverpool's captain, and it just doesn't
spine of the
well.
team.
The spine of the team, it doesn't sit well. Salah as well. I mean, somehow it could seem maybe like these three players are maybe boycotting the contracts, but I don't think it's that. It could be Liverpool are not offering what exactly these players want, because think about it. These are three players who are very key for Liverpool's recent success. So I'm also surprised by this, and it will be good to see exactly what happens towards the end of the season, because as far as we are concerned, Trent Alexander-Arnold is linked to Real Madrid. And in January, they would have cashed in because he was valued at around 70 million. So Liverpool were looking to sell him at that time. But again, it didn't happen.
Papa Perez, usually called Don Perez.
He controls the transfers sometimes. And you wonder what is going to happen to him. So I still think he could end up at Real Madrid for free transfer. And it will be like a pity for Liverpool, because they're losing a player who, actually, in the game against PSG, if you watched very well in the knockout, he did so well. And once he was injured, things just crumbled down, because Liverpool were not creating enough. He's a good creator. Sometimes he gets the stick of not defending properly, but he's still a player who still
just say he's running away from Doku. He's simply running away from Doku.
There are one or two games where he hasn't done so well, especially against the Manchester teams. But still, you still think his contribution attacking wise,
true,
is compensating for his lack of maybe defending very solid. And maybe it could be the reason why they lost the Carabao Cup.
They went from quadruple to only chasing now the Premier League.
So I think there's a possibility of him ending up at Real Madrid after the end of the season, but we just wait and see. For me, if you asked me if it's a good move, I'd say for him going to Real Madrid, Liverpool fans will not like it, because he's born, bred in the Merseyside. But sometimes a player wants to achieve more, and you just have to let him go. And I think he will. It is a good for him to go and have it at Real Madrid.
But do you think, like, moving on to Madrid, like, could it turn out like the previous recent scenario of maybe Eden Hazard, where he was the star of the team and went now to fill huge boots to fill, because he's going to fill Carvajal's boots since he's on and off, out of injury, and looks like he could also be on his way out from Real Madrid very, very soon. So do you think like he'll simply now gel in, and also in a star-studded team, the likes of Jude Bellingham, the likes of Mbappe, Vini, Rodrigo?
You know, football has a funny way of turning around for a player, because as you mentioned, Eden Hazard, we thought he would thrive at Real Madrid because he's a superstar. He didn't. And for Trent, you might not know what turns out. And if you think maybe Liverpool fans have been giving him stick during this period in terms of defensive abilities, then wait for Real Madrid, because that is the biggest stage you can ever be. So you never know how it will turn out, but if he goes there, all the best for him.
What about the second Egyptian king in the Premier League?
Mo Salah. All right, I think he's arguably the best player in the Premier League right now. I remember a few weeks ago we've been saying he's the best player in the world, but as soon as they crumbled out of the UEFA Champions League and they were defeated in the cup by Newcastle, a team which had never won a cup in 70 years. I mean, it just made him disappear in that final, and he lost the world best player title. He's now Premier League's best player because, as things stand, they are going to win the league, and his goal contributions for Liverpool have been very key, because around 27 goals as we speak, and 17 assists is just big for him. So I think his contract situation as well is not good. Having your best player treated like that is not a good thing to see for other players, especially.
True.
And I think at 32 years of age, if I were him, yeah, I'd also think of other places to go, especially now they haven't maybe won the Champions League. Now you want to go maybe to the Arabs, look for more money for retirement.
You know, I clocked in a crazy start. Like, you know, people are putting a lot of stick on Salah, but what about his teammates? What are they doing currently? Like, towards the success of the team. Like Jota in the last 10 games, he has 0 goals. Nunes has only 1 goal in the last 13 games. Luis Diaz was high-flying when the season was starting, has only 1 goal in 18 games. Only 2 goals in 41 combined games. Yeah, and still people give Salah stick for not turning up in some of the games. Where do you think he will end up at the end of the season? If I was FSG right now, I'd be giving him a contract. I'd actually, because it looks like he's the spine of the team going forward. The other teammates are not doing enough or doing much as what he ought to do. And he's around 33 at the moment, and he's still like cracking up this insane amount of goals, creating and still scoring. Why not give him another 1 or 2 seasons?
1 or 2 seasons, especially. He's your best player. I think if it were for me, for Liverpool, if I'd let Trent go, I'd have Salah remain, because I can't imagine losing Trent and Salah in one window. And wait a bit, we are about to talk about one other person, Virgil Van Dijk. He's also running out of contract. You are captain of the team. What do you think in this situation?
That's very, very crazy. It's not actually about him being a captain, it's also just his leadership abilities on and off the field. And he's actually been very, very instrumental. I don't think he's been injured this season.
Nope.
Konate has been out, we've seen the likes of Kwanzaa, Gomez playing a little bit, but still Van Dijk has been the key central figure. Even Alisson at some particular point was out. And we saw Kelleher coming in place. But Van Dijk's leadership at the back, going forward, and now Salah's drive going forward, has actually made Liverpool out to fly high. A player like that, I think you should be fighting to stay. Give him at least another 2 years.
And especially as a centre-back. I think at 33 years of age, that is when a centre-back really realizes his strengths as a player.
True.
And he knows, I don't need to run much. I don't need to press much. I just need to calm down and position myself properly to make a tackle. And Van Dijk has been doing it for some time. He's been arguably the best defender in the Premier League, you know. I know Arsenal fans have been bringing Saliba into the conversation.
I'm actually about to throw in Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz. Does Van Dijk have a treble? No. Let's move on.
Let's move on, though. it doesn't look good for him, especially I mentioned in the start of the video that he came open in the press conference or after match reaction, and he said he doesn't know his situation. If these 3 players are going to leave Liverpool, I guarantee you one thing.
They'll fall.
They're going to fall.
They'll
for the
take
obvious
a
reasons.
Huge rebuild.
For the obvious reasons. There have been the 3 players, including Alisson, if we can add another key player to them, who have been the core of this team. And if they lose these 3 players, I don't think they're going to survive.
It will actually be a tough nut to crack.
Yeah.
That's where Pep will come in and said, we cannot replace them.
and the good thing with or the lucky thing with Ancelotti could be, even if he loses these players coming to the end of the season, maybe he would have won the league. So
he'll actually have overachieved.
He'll overachieved.
Yeah, with his first season.
First season. So whatever happens next, even if he gets the sack, he'll always say, you know what? Okay, we are not.
I'm not like Arteta.
All right, that's about Liverpool, and there are 3 key players who could be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. How about this player? He has led Manchester City to a quadruple. He has also led Manchester City to a treble. He's been one of the best players.
You forgot 4 Premier Leagues in a row. That's very, very key.
That does not
especially
really,
for a Man United fan.
That does not really interest me. Yeah, but he's been one of the best midfielders we've seen in the Premier League, and arguably maybe in the history of Premier League, by the name Kevin De Bruyne or KDB, however much you want to call him. How is he not extending his contract up to this point? And you are a Manchester City fan. Tell us.
I think at City it's a bit owing to how the season is spanning out. And I think from recent reports I saw the club were offering him, or giving him the leeway to choose what he wants.
Yeah.
They promised that they wouldn't stand in his way if he opted to go out to Saudi, or probably MLS, or probably if he wanted to stay. But the condition was he had to reduce his wages, which is understandable. I know KDB has been our best player for some time now.
Yeah.
And we actually would, as City fans, will want him to stay, and also not entirely because of the emotional attachment that we have towards him, but if you actually want to rebuild a team, just don't get rid of all your old players. You leave like those experienced ones, whereby if you bring in a Witz, a Florian Wirtz, if reports go as they are saying, he's someone that he can actually learn from, KDB, how to create space, how to gel into Pep's system and whatnot. And up until now, he's still our best creator in the league, surprisingly. And and he also has the most big chances created at the Premier League up until now, time of recording. So I don't see the need for us to push him out. And I really hope he stays, owing also to the fact that we'll be rebuilding a lot in the summer. The likes of Kovacic, Gundogan, probably Bernardo Silva will be gone. There'll be a huge void to fill, and we can't get also rid of even the club captain in the process.
You know what? If I were Manchester United board, maybe save for the salaries, if he also agrees to cut his salaries and come to Manchester United, I'd welcome him. But the problem is,
there was a meme that KDB was actually offered a United jersey and was actually asking if he should burn it.
The problem is, if he comes to our team, we have our Magnifico who would bench him.
To do
well.
what?
That is about KDB at Manchester City. There's a chance he could leave. We don't know, but if he leaves, Manchester City diehard, the only Manchester City fan
in Kenya
says Florian Wirtz could replace him. Who knows? But we'll live to find out towards the end of the season. Now we have another situation in London. A player who has been in the previous season more injured than not, but now, if you check the last few seasons as well, especially the recent season, he's been key to what Arsenal have achieved in terms of going for the title. What do you think of Thomas Partey's situation at Arsenal?
I remember when Thomas Partey came, Arsenal fans were so desperately trying to compare him to Rodri. But I'll actually ask Arsenal fans, who is laughing now? At this moment, does he have a Ballon d'Or? Okay, moving forward. But Thomas Partey, I think he has been a quality player, and he's proved to be versatile. We could see Arteta deploying him at right back in some games, to some extent going towards the centre back position, but I think he has been progressively good at midfield. But for them, Arsenal going forward, I think the midfield has been addressed with Declan Rice there. We have Mikel Merino, and also have going forward, of course, the Odegaards and whatnot. But I think it's a good time for him now to actually move on now, so that actually he can go and try something new.
I actually disagree with you, because if Arsenal lose Thomas Partey, they will forget about even now having a run for being second in the Premier League.
But they haven't won anything with him.
No, I'm not saying that they will win anything. I'm just saying they will decline as a team. They will decline as a team. Because this is a player who has brought more to Arsenal than we think. And I heard Arsenal have been rumored to have Zubimendi from Real Is it Real Sociedad?
Yeah, Real Sociedad.
Yeah. And they think maybe he could do a better job. But I think the way Partey understands the game, and you know, it goes with the age as well. He's very old, he's experienced, and he knows how to deal in that. He knows how to beat the press. He knows how to pass. He can score goals. I think maybe the issue here with Arsenal's board is his age and his injuries, because they're looking maybe and saying him to be a liability maybe next season. But I think Thomas Partey's influence in that Arsenal's midfield is usually very underrated. And I tell you what, put Declan Rice, Zubimendi, add anything else in the midfield of Arsenal, they're not going to play as when Partey is at the CDM and Declan Rice has the freedom to roam over the pitch. That's my opinion.
That's a good analysis, actually.
That's my opinion about Thomas Partey. So whatever Arsenal want to do with Thomas Partey, I don't know. I don't care.
You don't want him to come at United?
No. No. All right. Still in the Premier League, we have another player who is in the same situation, and he's done well this season. He's arguably one of the best defenders this season, especially on the fullbacks. He is an African from Nigeria. Ola Aina. What do you think about his contract?
Waiting with this. Okay. For Ola, I actually love Ola Aina and his versatility at right back. I've seen it at left back, right wing back, left wing back. But I think for Ola Aina, it's a difficult choice for him.
Yeah.
Does he go to a top six, the traditional big six side, except Tottenham, or does he stay with Nottingham? And actually,
good thing you didn't mention Manchester United. Keep on.
And does he go and play Champions League football with Nottingham Forest, whereby who have been out of the competition in how many years? 20 or so. I think the last coach, I keep forgetting his name, who actually took them and won them two Champions League. But I think that's a tough decision for him. But for me, I'd be open for him to come at City. We don't have a designated right back at the moment.
And sometimes even left backs, because if you think about it, Virgil is not a natural left back. But I wouldn't fancy him at Manchester City because I know how good he is. Although I wouldn't also I can't see him coming to a club like Manchester United, because for the obvious reasons
they are going to get relegated.
Who told you that? You know, there's a big possibility of you guys getting relegated than us.
What do you mean?
Not this season, could be next season.
What do you mean?
Anyway, his situation is a bit tricky. He's a player who's done well at Nottingham. If it were for me, if a team comes in with a better offer than what Nottingham Forest could be offering me, I'd leave and then go to play Champions League football with another club, because it's entirely the same thing. But still, if you think about it, if no other team will have a better offer than what he'll have at Nottingham, then just sign the contract and play with the Champions League.
So do you think he should stay or should he leave the club?
For this one, I think for me it's 50-50. It depends with the offer he gets from outside the club. If he gets a better offer, he leaves. If he doesn't get an offer that is better than Nottingham's, he stays. That's according to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll go quickly on the rest of the players. They are from Bundesliga, some of them in the League 1 and Serie A. Kimmich, Where do you think Kimmich will go, or do you think he should sign a new contract with Bayern?
I think at the moment, Bayern would have presented a contract for him, a contract offer. They don't see him anywhere else he'll go. But possibly, if the negotiations end up turning sour, I'd fancy him to see him in the Premier League. We could see the likes of Liverpool could use a midfielder like him. Also going to his versatility. Remember, Trent might be on his way out, so that right back position might be open. I'd see him going back to play with Pep Guardiola. I wouldn't fancy him owing to his age. I don't see the reason why we should get rid of Kovacic and also bring in
another
Kimmich.
older guy.
But he's still a quality player. He could also be coming in for just a short brief spell. At right back or also maybe at midfield. Those are the two probable clubs I see him at. Probably Barcelona, but I think Barcelona's midfield is already set up.
I think it is, but just to add maybe some experience to it, I think he fits there better than anywhere else, because if you were him and you're looking, maybe Liverpool are coming for you, and yet they are denying their key players some of the contracts, then it's not a place where I want to end up, especially if I know that maybe I want something more on my contract. So if to me, maybe Barcelona will be a good choice now, because he will add more experience, as much as he won't play as much, because we have Pedri, Gavi, and
Casado,
and Frank de Jong.
Dani Olmo is also there.
I think he can fit properly there, because Hansi Flick knows him properly. Right, that is too much about Kimmich. We have Leroy Sané. Just name a club where you think he would fit better. Saudi
League or MLS.
I think
Europe. I don't see
Arsenal. For me, Arsenal. He could be a bench player to come in when Saka is resting.
Do you think it could turn out like the Sterling situation?
It could, but maybe because he's an ex-Man City player, it could fuel him. Who knows? We have Jonathan David.
Chelsea needs to go all in for this guy. Chelsea or Arsenal?
Chelsea or Arsenal?
Is the best striker
you can have at this point.
He's so good. Actually, he's so flawless. I think City were linked with him back in the summer transfer window, and also I think January. But we end up going for Omar Mamouche. But he's a very, very quality player.
I agree with that. How about Jonathan Tah?
Barcelona.
And Angel Gomez?
For him, a tricky one, but I'd see him, I think he could fit into Ang Postecoglou's Tottenham team.
I think we are also targeting, especially as Manchester United, we are targeting some free transfers because of the situation.
But he was with you guys and you chased him out.
But the manager was different. We have a different manager now who understands what it takes, and he's a good 10, and we need so many 10s. So he could fit in, who knows. So I think he could also be on the list, but who knows where he'll end up. And then
Zambo Anguissa, where do you think he'll go?
Zambo Anguissa. I'm not sure. If I were him at his prime now, I'd go Arab.
Just go for the paper. And close it and help your family.
Exactly. So those are the contract situations that we looked at and we thought it is interesting. You can let us know any of the other players you think we've left out that are very important, especially in the leagues they play and for the teams they play for. As for us, that is what we think. So until the next episode, my name is Brian.
My name is Enoch.
And this is
Get